Hey y'all, it's Jazabelle, and I am doing a quick stream on how to cover over stairs in a default house with other items. Um, so I have an assortment of random items that I thought people might be interested in. Okay, that's really annoying me. In using to cover over stairs. As I lag and try to right click this, and there we go. Come on. There we go. Okay, so oftentimes I've seen people try to use rugs. I've seen them use various building blocks. Um, so I have just a random assortment, as I said here. I tried to use something that's very high contrast compared to the actual stairs, except for the sumac because, as it turns out, I did not have any icy railings on hand, actually, now that I think about it. Let me check my broker. Come on. So I have a whole bunch of random items. PQR, here's more railings. Sumac, no. Alright, I don't. Alright, so we're just gonna go with what I currently have. So, like I said, I've got some building blocks. I have some rugs here. I didn't use any tables or anything like that, and you will see what I am talking about. So, first things first, you need to know what the rotation point or anchor point of your item is. This is the part of the item that attaches to the world when you place it. So you see this entire item here, but when you check the layout editor, it doesn't say this item takes up from this corner to this corner to this corner to this corner to this corner. It just says no, there's one spot. This is the location of your item, and then it gives you a single number. So if I were to move this, and as you see, as I rotate it, see how it spins around one point? It's not doing weird swingy stuff, but you know, it's rolling around just that one point. So that's one item. If I do another rug, we'll see once again it's around the center, and the fact that the item places on the floor tells us that it's the center bottom of the item. Now, if it were to hang from the ceiling, it would be the top of the item, and if it were to attach to the wall, it is the back of the item as the item faces you. So floor items are always pretty much on the bottom that they attach to the world. So here we go. Here's another item spinning around the center bottom. And once again, we're going to move this, and it goes around the center bottom because it attaches to the world on the bottom. So that's really important to know. With that said, if we were to sit here and go like this and say, okay, I want this stair here to be covered by this block, and I'm just going to put it there and then lower, and oh, it disappears. Well, gee, that sucks. So let me bring it back up so it's not invisible anymore. And then let me just do this. Turn on decorator mode, and then I'm going to select, oops, did I turn it off? No, I turned it on. It's not letting me select it because of the error I was about to warn you about. Even though it looks like it's in this room, see, it's no longer solid because I've lowered the center of the item inside the staircase, and so the game doesn't know whether to render this item in this room or, because there's a room below it, down here. And of course you wouldn't be able to see it down here because there's a ceiling in the way. So when you're doing something like making stairs or covering stairs, let's find my house items. This is the ice brick half block. I don't know which one it is. I'm not using the layout editor for this because, oh nope, not that one. So it's got to be the top one. iceberg half block. Move item, and now it's freaking out and invisible because I lowered it too far. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, I'll just make it so that it's on the floor here, right? And I'll just put it here on the stairs. That's good, right? And then I can click it, and I'll just use the house thingy to lower it. Oh, 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 there it went again. Gee. What do? It keeps disappearing. Guess what? That's because the anchor point of the item you are using must be in the room you are trying to decorate. Which means that for these items here, even though in some places you can lower them through the floor, if there is a room underneath the room you're working on, this case we have the entire basement, you cannot sink the items into the floor. If you sink them, they poof. Sink, poof. That's because, like I said before, the game doesn't know which room to render the object in. So it tries to determine which room the object is in based on its anchor point. And when you lower it into the floor, suddenly your anchor point is going to be in the room beneath it. And the game goes, well, you can't see that room from here, so I'm going to save your computer's processing power and not render that item, because it doesn't render all of the items that are out of your line of sight. Well, it kind of does sometimes. There's all sorts of complex stuff. But basically what it comes down to is the game does not render that item there any longer. So what's the person to do? Easy! Roll it so that it's upside down. This is not rolling. I hate roll. There we go. Roll it until it's upside down. Suddenly, the anchor point of your item is up in the air instead of down on the ground. See? So now so now instead of having an entire block showing up in the room, I just have the bottom of the block. And so then I can go up here and say, yeah, I want to use this to build the stairs. And so I can just carefully set it right there. And there's my first step. Now, as you noticed when I was doing this, I didn't completely cover the stair. Like, I didn't go like this and then lower it until it was down, because it's going to have the same problem. The center point of this block is still about right here where my mouse is. It's right in the center. So we need at least those, with this item at least, we need at least those 2 bricks showing, or it's going to technically count as inside. See, if I actually tried to place it there, it disappears. Oh, and now I poofed it somehow because it's invisible. Look at that, it's invisible. There we go, I managed to find it and raise it back up. So it's something you have to keep in mind, is you can't lower it too far or it thinks it's in the other room. See, I lowered it too far, and once again, so let's Control-Alt it down until it's, hovering. You can actually set it until it's just barely above and it'll be fine. But if you try to lower it any further, you'll have problems. So I can do that. Oops. I wanted to lower this. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you have to still have the center front to back in addition to up and down. So we can set it right here, and it's a tiny bit longer, but it's going to be like that for every single stair, so it really wouldn't make that much of a difference. Now, let's say I don't like that, and I'd rather try to get it thinner. Well, we do have the option of using dividers, because they're narrower than the half blocks. So I could use a narrow divider, and I could roll it 180 degrees. Come on, roll, roll, roll. There. And then I could move this over here and cover, and actually that's a little bit too narrow, so I could increase the scale until it fits. Now the issue with this is, yes, I can now cover the whole stair because the center of our item is right about there. So I have all this distance right here that I could shove it back. But that puts the divider poking down in here. And I don't know if, okay, no, it looks like it's fine. But sometimes, from some angles, you would actually be able to see that divider poking through the ceiling because the game isn't sure whether to render it or not. And it's just easy. It's just probably a better idea if you're going to do something like this. I would honestly use the railing if you don't mind the scale being... Oops, did I not move it? Yeah, I forgot to move it. So here's your railing. Make the scale nice and large so that it covers. And then we have to do that step again where we flip it upside down, because we need to make sure that that our center point is up inside this room and not down in another room. So here we are. Perfect. Now I have a sumac stair. And actually that's a little high up. Let's see, can I lower it with... Nope, I cannot. So I would have to make a front for these stairs. As you can see, there's a little bit of the default stair poking through. So I would either have to leave it like that or make a front for it. Which brings us to rugs. A lot of people like to do a faux runner along the center of their stairs. So they'll have rugs with one tilted. Come on. So stubborn. Okay, that's not really quite 90 degrees. This is why I like to use the layout editor instead of the hand thing, because I can get it perfect with the layout editor with no effort. Okay, so people sometimes like to do this thing where they put in rugs here, and well, that's great, but then they want to do the rug that faces on the front, and they say, well, this is not, it's too tall. I'm just gonna lower it. I'm gonna lower it right here, and boom. And it's not straight, but you get the idea. So it can be like a runner that has been set to carpet the stairs. It's been folded down over each one. And they'll say, oh yeah, but oh gee, now I can't target it. That's kind of weird. Well, it's okay, it's in place, it's visible, that's good, right? Wrong. If we exit the house, come on, let's exit the house. We're gonna exit the house and then we're gonna come back in. And I would have to say 98%, okay, I'm making up this number, but most of the time, if you can't target the item after you place it, that means it's going to disappear when you come back in. Once again, that reason is because you have sunk the center point of the item down past the boundaries of the room that you're currently in. Come on, stop lagging, let me into my house. There we go. So you always have to be aware of that center point, not the center point, but the anchor point or rotation point of the item. So you can always figure out where an item's anchor point, rotation point, whatever is, by literally rotating it in a circle and watching to see how it rotates. And if it rotates, on the ground, then it's, a floor item. In fact, most items tell you where they place when you look at the house list. See, if we go to the house, we go to the items, it says location, floor, 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 floor. In fact, all of these should say floor because I only placed floor items. So that'll tell you that the point is on the bottom, and hey, look at that! My front carpet went invisible. Oh, this sucks. Darn shucks. Phooey and all sorts of nasty things and stuff. But, you know, I kind of expected that. No, actually, I knew that would happen. I did say it would happen. So, let's see. Small burlap rug. Okay, I'm supposed to have 4 in this house, but I only have 2 visible. So, somehow, oh no, I have only 3. I can count. Move. Yes, this is the invisible one. So, we'll raise it up. There we go. There. So once again, I will demonstrate here. I lowered it, and that's, you know, we're looking at about the center, and it's still green, but if I were actually to zone out and zone back in, it would be invisible again, because that item is not supposed to go past this center point right here. So keep in mind, I say the center bottom of the item. However, let's look at this block here. If I rotate the item, roll the item, so it's like this, it doesn't suddenly become the center bottom right here that it rotates around. It stays right here. So now it's actually going to be the center top of this item now that I have rolled it however many degrees I've rolled it. Same works for pitch. If I pitch the item, come on, stop crouching. If I pitch the item, let's roll it back first, because roll and pitch don't play nice together. So if I'm going to pitch the item, it's now going to be on the side. Whoops, went too far. So here it is on, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see what's going on. No, so it's the side that's closest to my mouse. See how it rotates around it? And yeah, pitch likes to flip out and flip over once you get directly to 90, so ignore that. Yeah, so those are the important things to know about this. If we try to do it with this one, whoops, rotated instead of shrink, we're going to have a lot of problems. We're going to need some really wide stairs, because with this rug, as you can see, the center point is, even at smallest scale, it's quite a distance from the edge. And you need to keep that center point on top of the stairs. So we could try with this one. Well, this way it's once again really horrible, but this way we could actually have a nice little runner, sort of. You know, it's a little wider than these stairs, but we could make our own stairs that were wide enough for it. That's the nice thing about building your own stairs, or using something to cover over the other stairs. We could use a step. But the same thing with the step. The step has the same problem as the half block, in that it's a kind of a wide item, so you need a longer stair since the center is right about here, and you always roll it 180 degrees before you place it if you want to get it as close to the original step height as possible. So you can't just, even though it's called a step and you think, oh, I can just slap it down, nope. Gotta roll it. So yeah, see, that's even narrower on this direction. So if you just wanted it to be like a top tread area, you could use it. Say you had your sumac step and then you wanted to put like a slightly longer little bit here for contrast. Come on. Right there. See, you could do that, except for I would use something other than a sumac railing for it. I would, do something like a sumac half block so that it goes all the way down, and then put the stair on top so that, oops, I didn't do the side correctly. This is why I like using the layout editor. Don't have to worry about all that stuff. Okay. So those are just some ideas. I know I didn't use all of my items here, but, you know, not all of them are going to work. See, for these, it's quite a thick rug, and the center is pretty far out there. So, personally, my favorite for covering over items is to use, like I said, a half block, and then to use, I can talk really, and then to use a stair item over the top, or if I need it narrower, I'll use and I have the space underneath. Remember, when you flip something upside down, the part that's in the ground doesn't just magically disappear. Sometimes, yes, it is completely invisible, but other times it will appear as a ghost item flickering in your vision as you turn your camera around downstairs. So let's see, let's find a good spot. East. Okay. East. Okay, so right here by the door-ish, or maybe right here, I'm just gonna make a item huge, and then I'm gonna flip it upside down and see if we can get that ghost image so that you can see what I'm talking about. So say I wanted to make like a half wall in my house, you know, I decide that I want a little half wall here. So I do it by flipping this upside down. That's kind of short for a half wall. Do it, flip it upside down, I do it. Okay, this looks great from here. It's perfect, it's not going to disappear, it's great, it's wonderful. I'm going to run downstairs and... Well now, thank you EQ2 for not bugging out the one time I actually want you to, so that I can show people what the heck I'm talking about. No? Alright, what if I put one right on the landing? Because that should... Let's make it huge. I don't know why you would have something there, but we're trying to... EQ2? Why are you doing this to me? It's totally not visible. Okay, so basically, yeah, these stairs are actually being really nice right now. I don't know why it's doing that. Usually it should have issues, but yeah, it's being nice. So, in fact, I know for a fact that there's a spot over here where if you have an item and it is poking up upstairs, it should show up in EQ2. Why are you not bugging out like you're supposed to? Okay, well, basically, yeah, this is being really... Aha! See that? Here's an item poking up where it shouldn't... Oh, and then now it's not there, and then it's there again, and then I can run through it, and then... I hope I didn't, like, make anyone's eardrums bleed with that aha, but I was just so happy to finally get it to work. So this is kind of extreme. This is me just dumping an item to show you what I'm talking about. But, you know, you have to be careful because there are items that... See, now the game knows that I have no line of sight to the anchor point of that item, so it makes it invisible. But right when I'm right here, it says, oh, well, you could conceivably see that bottom part right there, so I need to render the whole item for you. Yeah. We don't want that. So it works both with items right side up and items upside down. So, in fact, I think we could even do it on these stairs here. Let's pretend we're going to roll it upside down. And we are making stairs here because we have decided we don't like these stairs and we want to use this to make other stairs. Okay, so here we are. Oh yes, we have lovely stairs. They are so pretty. So pretty, so pretty. And no, EQ2 says, yeah, your stairs are pretty. I'm just gonna only render that one item there. So no. Okay. Oh, we want to add stairs over here in this corner for some reason. I know that this shows up in the kitchen. Let me just... Oh. Yeah, that's not rolled. There we go. Let me just go. EQ2. Come on. Why are you not bugging when I need you to bug? Alright, so here's an item in the kitchen. See, we had this problem with when Blaze Wolf built a house for somebody else. She had this problem where this item kept appearing on the walkway, and yet when I try to duplicate it, it's not happening. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. So yeah, that can be a problem. A very annoying problem, because as you can see, that thing only appears from certain angles and then it disappears again. And you can run through it, and it's just very annoying because suddenly it shows up. So, try to avoid that by making sure your center points are always inside the room that you're working with, and not only that, but that the item that you're working with is not so large that it pokes through into somewhere else. So that's really all there is to covering over stairs. And personally, like I said, I would go with the building blocks, and if you have the space underneath it, I would use the narrow dividers. If you don't have the space underneath it, I would use the half blocks. And if you want that top stair effect, I would use the actual stair item, so that it gives that little extra overhang bit right there that makes stairs look a tiny bit more realistic, unless you don't want to trip your guests, because yeah, those can be trippers. Okay, I hope that was helpful to everyone, and thanks for watching. Happy decorating!